box office time. I'm feeling pretty good about my predictions from last week. I got 4 out of 5. Number 1 went to The Dark Tower, which made $19.2 million. Number 2 was Dunkirk with $17.1 million. 3 was The Emoji Movie with $12 million. 4 was Girls Trip with $11.4 million. And then Kidnap took the 5th spot with $10 million. Sadly, Detroit didn't have the strongest opening, so that's where I missed out on the perfect score. But maybe I can do it this week. Starting with number 5, I've got Girls Trip. So yet again, Girls Trip has 0 comedy competition to worry about, so there's really no reason to think that it's going to drop more than 40%, making the move from weekend 3 to 4. If it takes another $7 million, it's going to come real close to cracking that $100 million mark at the domestic box office. On the other hand, things aren't looking too good for The Dark Tower. The movie opened pretty low, and things aren't going to get much better for it. Similar to Ghost in the Shell, this thing is going to come and go, probably losing 60% of its weekend 1 profits, which would give it just $7.5 million. I came real close to forgetting this next one. At number 3, I've got The Nut Job 2, Nutty by Nature. The first Nut Job opened with just $19 million back in 2014. It did manage to make about $120 million worldwide over the course of its theatrical run, but on a $42 million production budget. So I'm still wondering why the sequel ever got made at all. Even with 4,000 theaters, I'm expecting this one to be a pretty big bust. Kubo and the Two Strings was a stunning quality movie, but just to figure out where an animated movie hitting theaters in the month of August might land, I am thinking that The Nut Job 2 will open slightly lower than Kubo's $12.6 million start and take about $9 million of its own. Now on to my number 2, it's Dunkirk. Dunkirk held on real strong in weekend 3, and while I don't think it's going to be able to repeat that same 35% drop, that number might only creep up to about 40%, and if that winds up being the case, it's still making another $10 million. And now, of course, that leaves Annabelle Creation in the number 1 spot. I've got a feeling Creation won't open nearly as big as the first Annabelle's $37 million start, and that's kind of sad because Creation deserves to earn way more than that one did. But on the bright side, it's still gonna open pretty well. I'm looking at the Purge franchise to figure this one out. The first movie in that series opened with $34 million, similar to Annabelle, and then the second movie took $29 million its opening weekend. I don't think there's as much hype around Annabelle Creation as there was with The Purge Anarchy, so I'm thinking the difference might be just a little bit bigger, with Annabelle Creation wrapping its first weekend in theaters with about $30 million. So let's recap. I have Annabelle Creation at number 1 with $30 million, Dunkirk at 2 with $10 million, The Nut Job at 3 with $9 million, The Dark Tower at 4 with $7.5 million, and then Girls Trip at 5 with $7 million. So now the time has come. Dewey's knocking over the lights. Shit's going crazy. Leave your box office predictions in the comment section below, and I'll see you real soon.